started with our big focus today, which is law. Apart from getting the bad guys and cleaning up the system, there's a lot more to law. This is one of those subjects of great relevance to all of us and not restricted to just those with a law degree. Laws govern almost all aspects of our lives and we're all therefore affected by it. Here's why many are opting for law.
People join law because for them it's more about justice. For me it's not just about justice. Yes, for a lawyer that is a part of it. But what I believe is I've always liked to be in the advocacy field.
Doing law will teach me how the policies are actually implemented and how it goes around.
My main passion is about practicing law, becoming an advocate.
I did law because when I was in my 11th standard, I came across a book which talks about how people, especially lawyers, are exploiting the use of law. And instead of protecting the rights of the people, they help to violate the rights of the people. And that is the reason why I am doing law, because I want to change that practice. I want to help people whose rights are getting violated.
Perhaps they'll do it by enrolling in law school. Many of those students that we heard from have done that. But what if you don't have a law degree? You chose to study something else and today feel the need to focus on just one aspect of law. Well, it's possible and convenient too. At the click of a button is My Law, which allows you to study a law subject, any subject related to law online. It's not a substitute for a law degree, of course, but gives you a new layer to your skills and knowledge for your job at hand.
Fascinated by law but never made it to law school? Do you want to understand sports law or intellectual property and don't know who to turn to? Help is at hand and in fact is just a click away. MyLaw.net opens up the world of law to everybody.
All our programs are designed in a way that can be easily consumed. You don't need to, for example, sign up with a law school or what have you. All you need is to sign up for that program that you're looking for, where you need more information on. It's as simple as that.
The website provides you with reading material, video lectures, and law quizzes. All you need to do is sign up for a law course of your choice and pay a fee depending on the course. The cost ranges from 2,500 to almost 8,000 rupees, depending on what you opt for. Once you clear an exam at the end of your course, you get a certificate from the parent body of MyLaw.net, Rainmaker, a company that not only conceptualized the first All India Bar examination, but that has been focused on creating legal content and learning. The company was founded by Nikhil Chandra, a graduate of National Law School, Bangalore, with an aim to increase access to legal knowledge in the country.
I think there's a huge gap in this market, and that gap has existed for a really long time. And the intent with MyLaw.net was to create a platform that could provide both education as well as access to people who just need access to Indian law.
The team is comprised of law graduates and lawyers who gained experience in the field for over 7 or 8 years in law firms before choosing to focus full-time on MyLaw.net.
Working at MyLaw.net is also a bit like being a part of academia without any of the red tape. I get to be on the cutting edge of the creation of a lot of legal thinking without having to kowtow to, senior academics.
And if you're a law student, then there are tailored programs for you too. So students can match what they study every year in law school with courses available on the portal to enhance their skills.
The best part about the course is that you don't get to know all this in law school. They just don't teach you all this in law school.
The USP of MyLaw.net is simply in the fact that almost every Indian citizen wants to know more about the laws in India. And there is simply nothing out there that tells you authoritatively that these are your rights, these are the laws that govern you as a citizen, and these are what you can do. And where does the limits of the state end and where do your rights begin?
So if you missed out on law school, it isn't the end of your dream. This could help you in whatever field you're already in. In New Delhi, with camera person Alfred Monsang, Kriti Mathur for Ndtv.
Right, so that's always an option worth looking at, and lots of queries on those studying law 1-2 now coming our way. Our expert Mahesh Perry here with us. Mahesh, thanks very much for coming in as always. Now, before we get into all the questions that we've got, law is clearly forever in vogue. This is something that never really goes out of fashion.
That's right. It's always the case, because anything that you want to do, ultimately you have to comply with certain set of law. It can be taxation or journalism or whatever you call it. There is always a law that's powering that entire work of yours. So it's important for you to understand when you're doing any vertical specialization also, what is a law that pervades or which regulates that particular thing, and it's so important for all of us. So for media, for example, I think most of the media people are quasi lawyers, because you need to understand what is the collection of evidence that you need to do before you're doing a story, because you may be sued. So you always try to protect your backside in terms of ensuring that the information is properly tagged and documented, and it's so important. So it can be the same for taxation or whatever you call it.
Right, and like you said that after you retire, you have plans of studying law. Well, I can assure you that half the newsroom believes that they have a lawyer somewhere within them that's desperate to come out. Well, I don't know whether they're waiting to retire for that, but we'll wait to see. Well, let's get started right away. Bhumika has a question. Let's hear from you, Bhumika.
Is it worth doing LLM after LLB? Because most of the lawyers do not exactly look for an LLM, even the corporate firms. So is it really necessary to do LLM to land up a good job, whether it be litigation or corporate?
See, typically you do masters in law only when you want to research or specialize in one of those subjects. Most lawyers today are normal LLBs who work their way up, and LLM comes only for research purposes in a larger sense. Having said that, a few multinationals prefer LLMs to be employed with them, because they actually have a they really have depth of the subject, and they've researched the subject.
So how should you decide? How does one decide this?
So if you want to be a lawyer, practicing lawyer, you don't. I'd say that don't do LLM. It's better that you go and join a very good senior counsel.
I see.
And you'll learn far better and much more there with a senior counsel than doing an LLM.
That's again practice.
Absolutely.
There's nothing like hands-on experience. But let's get on to Piyush now, who has the next question. Piyush.
So what are the options we have in doing LLM in India and in abroad?
But all those are sort of watching and again want to know that if they are undecided, would you still say that, yes, get some experience, and then even after that, at the end of it, if you still believe that you need to do that master's, get on? Or?
Once you start getting into practice, Natasha, you won't have time to actually work on an LLM. If you are into law and if you're into practice of law, I've rarely seen a person who's done LLM after being in practice.
Okay. Well, I hope that answers your question. That's as clear as it can get. Piyush, well, Subendu has the next question on specialization in branches of law. Go ahead, Subendu.
In India, we don't have very specialized branches of law. Say, if I want to study medical law, there is no place in India where I can study medicine.
To answer his question on medical law, we might not have it, but we have quite a few specializations in law that are happening at this point in time. If you look at Dehradun, UPES has a law on energy studies, on intellectual property, on taxation, on cyber law. So increasingly, the law profession itself is getting really specialized, and people really want to dive deep and dig deep and try to understand.
Is this a recent phenomenon, or this has been
happened
on?
Because you're dealing with multinational corporations all over the world, so you need to understand, like if I'm documenting something on energy, I need to understand exactly the terminology and how the industry works before I draft out an agreement.
So it's a need of our times.
Absolutely. So you actually, in India itself, I remember about 20-25 specialization in law that are coming in. Cyber law is a huge thing at this point in time. Intellectual law is a huge thing. Taxation law, corporate law, criminal law, energy law, infrastructure law. You can go on, and there are quite a few of them that have come up, and they're doing extremely well. But you must remember one thing, that when you do specialization, then you're going to be slotted there, in which case it's extremely difficult for you to come out of the slot.
So what really does one do? You can't be a jack of all trades, and
which is right. So you need to understand the demand of the times. You want to practice in a court of law, you might be better off doing a general law. But if you want to specialize, and a lot of people do that in terms of taxation law, corporate law and all, and there are enough and more number of clients coming in. But you need to be taking the chance. Every time when we choose a career, we take a chance of being very specialized versus generic, and that's a chance that you need to take.
If I'm a law student and I want to go ahead and, I do want you, like you're saying, there's so much on offer, so many areas to look at, given the economies that the world's throwing up. So what are the three things that I should keep in mind if I am looking to apply?
For law?
Yes.
So, I think first of all, you need to decide what kind of college that you want to go for. If you want to do for specialization or for a general kind of a law, ensure that you appear for the top 3 examinations that you have, which is the CLAT and AIP LAT and all the stuff. And ensure that, the kind of college that you're choosing is known for that kind of specialization if you're choosing a specialization or vice versa. So you can go for general specialization or general or a specialization. Just ensure that you choose the college which fits into your scheme of things. Because there are colleges which are good at general, there are colleges that are good at specialized.
To do your homework, basically.
Absolutely. So, in fact, there are a few colleges which only have specialization in energy law, as I talked about. So, for you to choose a great law institution which is not specializing in energy law might be a misnomer.
Right. Okay.
Right. So, ensure, just be clear of what you want and choose the college not by the ranking of whether it's best or not for in a larger sense, but for your specialization.
Right.
That will work better for you. Yeah. Because even the placements happen exactly that way. Right. For example, a college that's specializing in energy law, you will have firms and companies which will go and seek students from that specialization.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That makes complete sense. And interestingly, you also said that don't go by their ranking. Now, that's another debate for another day, and we're making a note of that. We will, of course, come back to all of that. But Sabah has a question. Something to do with confusion. Go ahead, Sabah.
There's one doubt I'm sure I think a lot of people have about judiciary, whether to go into the line of litigation or to go into the line of judiciary. So, I don't know. I think it'd be nice if the panel would just specifically tell us the prospects in judiciary.
When you want to be a lawyer, the first few years is extremely difficult, extremely stressful. Your senior would really make you slog. It's important because you learn it on the job. So, and because the lawyers work only from 7 to 11 or 7 to 12, because morning times they're in the courts, your timings and everything is offbeat, in the sense. But having said that, once you arrive in the law profession after the first 5-7 years of slog, you actually have great chance of speeding up your growth career. Whereas judiciary is a stable, steady career. You need to log in a few years of being an advocate, and you can, move your way up to be in the judiciary structure. It depends on how much fire you have. Judiciary is a stable and safe career, and litigation is a stressful and you really need to put in more hours of work. So it's for you to decide depending on your aptitude, more important than anything else.
Again, no one size fits all. Whatever works for you.
You're not risk averse and you want to really take up a lot of issues, then be with litigation.
Right. Keep that in mind, Mahesh. Thanks very much for taking our time for all of this today. Well, we're taking a quick break now. But we saved the best for the last, why India's top lawyers chose the subject and the one moment that changed the course of their legal life, coming up right after this.